I'm here to talk to you today about how I am more saved than anyone, okay? I have done it all. It doesn't matter what it is. Nobody, well, let's not say nobody, but very few can actually say, no, he's not saved, all right? I sat down, I thought about it, I made a list, and I think that I'm more saved than anybody, all right? Here goes. When I was born, in 1976, okay, I'm only 31, a couple months later, I was baptized in the Episcopal Church. Infant baptism, all right? Got that under my belt. Okay, there we go. God's grace, He set me apart, predestined me to be born in that place with my parents who baptized me when I was a child, okay? Baptized by God, all right? Next, through the Anglican Church, I went through my catechism classes. I was confirmed, okay? So I went through, all the steps that I had a bishop come and lay hands on me, and not just any bishop, but through a tradition that believes in physical apostolic succession, okay? So, the bishop that laid hands on me, had a bishop that laid hands on him, blah, 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 all the way back to Christ, okay? All the way back. So, there you go, all right? Totally set up there, all right? Christ Himself laid His hands on me at my confirmation, all right, according to apostolic succession in that way. Made a public confession. Congregation was to, help to uphold their part in that, okay. I was an acolyte. I was a torchbearer, okay. I served in ministry at that age, okay. Then later on in my teen years, I started going to a friend's church, and he was Lutheran, okay. So I'm still liturgical here, liturgical worship, okay. Going to a Lutheran youth group, going and doing good deeds, feeding old people ice cream, talking with them, helping out the community, stuff like that, okay? All right? So I'm doing all the works, okay? I'm doing everything that needs done, all right? And then I walk away for a couple years, build my personal testimony here, like we all have, and then I have a personal esoteric experience that even if I were to tell you, and if it was somebody else telling me, I would probably doubt it, okay? But the fact that it happens to me, I don't talk about it a lot because I look back at it and say, that's unbelievable, so we're not even gonna go there. We're just gonna say that I had a personal esoteric experience where God, revealed Himself in a way to me, okay? So I had that experience, rededicated my life to Christ, okay? Said, after looking at all the religions and everything, said, I'm gonna follow you, okay? And that's it, all right? Then I started going to a very legalistic, charismatic, Pentecostal church where, you could lose your salvation at the drop of a hat. Very pharisaical. I learned to walk the walk, all right, and I did it great, too. I couldn't believe that some people couldn't do it, all right? I did everything right. Even my pastor was messing up, all right, and I had to point it out to him a couple times. And I was glad that I did. Glad that I did, I tell you. At least at that time I was. All right? So, get my notes here. Because, hey, when you're saved, there's a lot to write down. Okay, so I walked the aisle, okay, and in front of everybody, the whole oil, greasy forehead, laying hands on me, whole 9 yards, okay, I did all that stuff. Went through a believer's baptism, okay, publicly confessing believer's baptism, all right. Then, going through all that, being in that tradition, speaking in tongues, praying for that earnestly. I want to speak in tongues so bad I even faked it, okay? I faked speaking in tongues, so I even gave that appearance, all right? The only tongues I really know is English, Don't really know too much anything. A little bit of Greek here and there, a little bit of Latin here and there, but no real tongues, only Pig Latin, I guess. Pig Latin would be the only one, all right? Faked being touched by the Spirit. Now, that's a very important one here. I had to show that, somebody laid hands on me, and I shook and quivered and did all that fun stuff, okay? Yes, I went through that, okay? I showed that I had that. I wanted that, okay? That's what I was looking for. Never really happened to look back on it, and that's how I know that I faked it, because I could mimic it again. I know exactly what I did and what I was looking for and what was expected, okay? I accepted eventually that salvation was by God alone completely, and not by anything that I could do, okay, at all, no matter what it was, all right? And then on May 4th of 2007 at 2:34 in the morning, and this is very important, Very, very important, okay? That I know this date and I know this time and I have my witnesses. And I was online, I was on Connection Gate with Kerry Hunter and Ed Komaszewski, and we were discussing about this thing that I'm talking about right now on, when exactly was I saved? Here it is. I was saved exactly at that moment, because that's when I told them that if that's what it takes, they're my witnesses, and I repented of all of my known sins. I, turned to Christ. I fully accepted Him. Okay, and I said, all right, here it is. I'll make Him Lord of my life. Whether I'm taking that out of context or not, who knows? Doesn't matter. Lordship, salvation, view. I did it. Okay. So now my question to you is: you've heard my story here. The only people, when I started out, saying, that there was probably only one that would say I'm not saved, that would be the person who says, well, you have to agree to the view that I hold to about the method of your salvation, whatever point that is, whether it was walking the aisle, whether it was the believer's baptism, whether it was the confession, whether it was the Lordship salvation, that one I have to hold to. And if I don't hold to that, I'm probably not saved, because I probably don't understand. Okay, so the fact that I have a lack of understanding, that is what saves me. Okay, so I ask you the question again. I'll run through them real quick here. When was I saved? Okay, was I saved by God's grace alone? Well, did that happen at my infant baptism? Did it happen when I was confirmed? Did it happen when, after my confirmation, I started showing the fruits of that by, working as an acolyte, as a torchbearer, an altar boy? Was it sometime through my catechism before then? Was it when I went to a Lutheran youth group? Okay. Was it my personal esoteric experience to where it became relational to me? Okay, and it really became my belief. Is that when I was saved? And that's when I rededicated my life to Christ. Is that when I was saved? Or when I decided to walk the aisle, and then I publicly showed that after I came into this knowledge that, then, okay. Was it at my believer's baptism? Okay. Was it, when I faked tongues to show the fruit of the Spirit? Okay. Was it when I was fake being touched by the Spirit? Is that when I was saved? How about when I accepted that salvation was by God alone and nothing that I could do, and I came to that full realization? Is that when I was saved? Or was it when I repented of all my known sins and accepted Christ as my Lord, and I cried out at that moment, and then I was born again, which was, recently, just a few months ago, just so that I had that under my belt. Okay, so the only thing that I can honestly tell you is when I was baptized as an infant, that was the only thing where works I couldn't have done. All right, there was nothing that I had to do, and it was all God, period. Everything else I had to agree with. Everything else is I had to do synergistically. It was not monogistically by God. So go ahead, pick one of those, and I'll, and I'd love to hear your posts. I'd love you to put it up. Hey, make a video like this, throw it up there, and tell me, which one, at what point am I saved? Okay? Love to hear from you. Love to hear when exactly I'm saved. Thanks a lot.